We're off to the seas for another pirate adventure. Hey everyone, welcome to Princess Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here with episode 7, I want to say. Yeah, episode 7 of Dragon Prince Season 5. And I don't know where we're going to go from this, because we're on our way towards where we're supposed to be going, but we've made enemies of the leader of this little port town, and shit's probably not going to go great in that regard. Meanwhile, our villains are, continuing their path, and Claudia is just subduing a dragon because she thinks it makes her look tough. I don't know. Hopefully Terry can help rein her in because she needs it, but we'll see. In the meantime, we still haven't gotten any confirmation on the status of the survivors in the library. Though we know they're alive. Like, they wouldn't kill them off screen like that. If they were going to kill them, it would be like a notable thing. So we know they're alive. I guess we just have to wait to catch back up with them at this point. We're focusing more on our main squad and everything, so. I guess we should just get this going. Just see where this goes and see what leads into the final 2 episodes next week. Because, we're going to do 8 and 9 together. It's just how I typically do things on the channel with most shows. Doing the final 2 episodes of a season or series together. And we're just going to go from there. We'll get to the next season eventually, but we will be obviously taking a break before we do that. So, yeah. Yeah. Sorry if I seem a little out of it today. It's just, I don't know. It's just one of those days where I'm just a little foggy. It happens every now and again where I'm not like, sick or anything. I'm just like kind of out of it. It's hard to describe. It's a weird feeling. Um, but I'm good. Everything's good, so no worries there. And honestly, I'm glad it's happening on a Thursday of all days. Because it's like I only have one thing to record today. And then I can go to the bar and play some games. Of course, by the time you're seeing this, I'll have already come back from the bar, but still. Thursday's probably one of the best days for this to happen, so that's a good thing. No worries there. Let's just get into this episode, though, and see where this, I guess, seafaring adventure takes us. Cutting in here real quick to remind you of all the awesome content we have on the channel. Between Monday and Friday, we have a plethora of awesome series reactions with 2 on Wednesday. We also have movie reactions every Saturday and Sunday. I do pre-record them during the week, but upload them on the weekend. We have gaming content as well on our secondary channel, Princess of Gaming. Every single day we upload parts of Baldur's Gate 3, and every other day is Horizon Forbidden West. But on Saturdays we also get to Nier Automata. Don't forget to click the link in the description for today's reaction. I redirect everything on the channel just because of copyright. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel and click that like button. It helps out the channel and allows me to get more of this awesome content to you. Thank you so much for tuning in. Let's get on with today's reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So usually when you have 2 different plot lines going on in a single episode, you'll refer to it as an A plot and a B plot. The A plot is the more important one. It's the main focus. It's usually the one with the main characters in it. While the B plot is more of a side thing, something usually a lot lighter, a lot more fun, a lot more, well, not a lot more interesting necessarily. It just depends on the episode, the show, etc. But the point is, this episode, I wouldn't really consider either of these a B plot. Both plot lines were extremely important, centering around extremely major characters. And while the one plot did focus on the main characters heading towards the prison and everything, getting chased by sea legs and all of that shit going down, the other plot line was just as important. It's just as major, just as important, just as, necessary. And as such, it feels wrong calling it a B plot. I really just consider them two separate plot lines of equal standing in this episode. So let's talk about the Sunfire Elf one first. So we have this blood lady. I forgot what it called her, but I'm just calling her like this blood witch. She infiltrates the Sunfire camp and very successfully takes out most of the guard, like violently and kind of horrifically murdering them. Which again is surprising to me because I would think that Janai's brother would not want that. Because he kind of reminds me, in a really weird way, just hear me out here, he kind of reminds me of Arlong from One Piece. Like, he's a piece of shit. He's a bad guy. He wants to do bad things with the Sunfire Elves. But he cares about the Sunfire Elves. His friends, his family, the other Sunfire Elves just in general, he wants to see them rise up. He wants to see them, like, become this strong, powerful force. He doesn't want them dead. No, not by any means. That goes against all of his plans and ideals. It's just like Arlong in One Piece. It's like, dude was racist against humans, a piece of shit, enslaved people for his own needs, but he greatly cared about his fellow fishmen. He got, like, extremely angry if someone hurt his fellow fishmen. He saw them as his family and was loyal and protective of them. So it kind of reminds me of that in an interesting way. But that also makes me think he wouldn't like what she's doing here. And I'm wondering what the idea is here. Because there's like a couple different options, I feel. Either one, he doesn't know she's doing this. He just told her to go get the seed by any means necessary. And he thought probably that it would be implied he wouldn't want any elves killed. But she, took any means necessary very literally. Or, dude has just gone entirely crazy, entirely insane, and has abandoned his morals and beliefs for the sake of revenge and control. It's one of those two options, I feel, and the problem is I can't tell which it would be. I could believe either one. So, I guess we'll have to maybe see if that's addressed at all. But she manages to infiltrate, and while Janai gives her a really great fight and would actually have beaten her completely if not distracted at the end there, she does manage to win and kidnap Janai in the end, in probably hopes of leading her to the seed, even if by torturing. Because Janai said, it's like, if you kill me, you'll never find the seed. And it's like, so she just took her instead. The question is she going to take her to her brother? Is that the plan? Or is she just going to take her somewhere else and torture her to try to get the information out? Either way, Amaya, we see, has finally returned with Corvus, and she's going to definitely lead a hunt for her wifey for obvious reasons. So, this episode does confirm that they did survive, which was obvious. But we're also seeing her response to the aftermath. And before seeing that conviction on her face to save her wife, and I know they technically haven't had the ceremony yet, but I'm calling her wife. we saw like that fear that was quaking through her, like, and it was displayed really excellently. You could tell she was like panicked, she was afraid, she was maybe a little guilty. You could like have like the tinnitus kind of sound going on, and like she was just like kind of almost disassociating. And she managed to pull herself together to put on that face of conviction because she knows she has to go rescue her, because of course she does. And I like that reaction. I think that's an extremely realistic reaction, especially after the shit that she just went through. Like, coming back to find her wife missing and in excessive danger is not great. So yeah, I really like how that reaction was done. Though Amaya's always been amazing and always had great like reactions and character moments and stuff, so it's not a huge surprise. The creators and animators and stuff tend to like really go hard with Amaya, and I appreciate it. She's a really well handled character. Now, in the other plot line, of course, we have our main group trying to sail away and outrun Sea Legs, the ship that is led by Finnegrin, the pirate captain and leader of the port town who we kind of pissed off last time by kidnapping the Glowtoad babies. Um, and yeah, this episode is with this plotline is mostly centered around like escaping them and just doing everything they could to try and outrun them, get away and stuff, and having interactions amongst each other while doing so. We get to name the Glowtoad babies. We get to have a little moment where Soren ends up jumping to overboard to save one. But a lot of it is, conversation and getting to see everybody interacting, and it's nice. It's fun. But there's always that looming threat behind them. And then at the end, they're finally caught after it's revealed that Sea Legs is actually a hermit crab that a ship was built around as a shell, as a makeshift shell, because hermit crabs. And it seems to be under the control of Finnegan. Finnegan seems to be like in control of it and able to command it and stuff, to where it's acting on his behalf, and that explains why taking the wind out of their sails didn't work. It explains why they can catch up and everything, how they could climb over those rocks. Yeah, everything is kind of explained with that. And it makes it much more threatening, I would say. Though I do have to question one thing, and I'm not like an expert in this kind of thing by any means. So if you might know more, please feel free to fill me in. Would the ship housing this giant hermit crab not affect the weight and buoyancy of it? Because ships are made in a very specific way to be able to sail, to be able to, exist on the sea. They have to be made in a certain way that there are weight limits to ships. They have to be properly handled and weighted in order to be able to, float on the water. They have to have that buoyancy. The problem is with a giant ass hermit crab inside, that thing's got to weigh a shit ton. And I feel like it would absolutely unbalance the ship. Because the ship was absolutely floating for a good time there. The legs weren't always out, right? Let me go back and check to be safe. Make sure. Yeah, we see the ship coming up. It stops at the wreckage that they were thinking it couldn't get over. And then the legs fold out. It looked like they were folded in. They weren't like inside the ship, but they were folded in, implying that the ship was sailing. And we saw that, like, when the wind was originally taken out, the ship did stop temporarily. This implies that the ship was sailing with wind initially, but the hermit crab was helping it move along after that fact until they got wind back again. So it's like right here when you see the claws, like, folding out at the end, it's like that's the hermit crab, like, taking action. It was dormant before. It wasn't doing anything, which means the ship was just sailing as normal. And so yeah, it's like, wouldn't the weight of that be like unbalanced? And because they have to have other stuff on the ship too. It's like you can't just say like, oh, they just don't have as much cargo because they have to have room for the crab and stuff. But it's like, no, they have to have certain amounts of cargo on the ship for survival. There's certain things that you just can't, like, leave off of the ship for survival and logic reasons. They have to have food, they have to have supplies for, you know, protecting the ship and, fixing it if need be. They have to have medical supplies. Speaking of supplies, they have to have a lot. I don't know if this ship has cannons, but if it does, there's that too. You have to account for cannons and cannonballs. It's just, plus they have a brig in the ship apparently as well. It's like there's so much to take into account with this. It just seems like that would be unbalanced, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe like I said, I'm not the most knowledgeable when it comes to this stuff, but I know some things, and it just seems like, to me, I'm not sure if that would work. But again, if you know more, please feel free to correct me. Please feel free to explain. I'm always willing to learn new stuff, so no worries. If you can explain that to me, if you can help me understand, I'm good. But because those claws, I don't think are going to be long enough to have like reached like the bottom of the sea. So you can't even like try to explain away with like, oh, it's just it was crawling along the bottom of the sea. No, I don't think it would work that way. So there's a lot of like questions, I feel. But I don't know. Either way, our heroes are caught, and apparently Finnegrin uses his coin flip to determine fate. He flips tails, which is apparently the really bad one. And he plans on using Callum for his own needs. So yeah, not great. It's looking like for this plot line, Finnegrin's going to be kind of our main and final antagonist for the season because there's only 2 episodes left. And then we also have the other problems going on with the other plot line with this blood witch and everything. So yeah, this is going to be interesting to see how this closes out and what kind of cliffhanger it might leave us off on. But yeah, a good episode here. I enjoyed what we got. If I'm being honest, I was actually kind of more invested in the Sunfire Elf plot line in this one, just because I felt like there was a lot more consistently going on. But that all being said, tell me your thoughts down in the comments below. And for now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.